Ladies and gentlemen of the media, welcome again to Force Headquarters. For this press conference, I've been called by the Commissioner. This is going to discuss the matter of the alleged assault of Mr. Harding by a member of the police force. The conference will focus specifically on that issue. Normally, the Commissioner will give his opening statement and then have questions in the floor. Here we have myself, I don't treat anybody here. Deputy Commissioner Enforcement, I don't treat anybody here. Commissioner, Mr. Ballon, was asking for administration. Leader Marine is the operations, led by Post Commander. Commissioner.
Thank you, Mr. Mitchell. Friends of the media. I want to who said me? Friends of the media. You welcome here this afternoon. As mentioned by the public relations officer, you know the reasons why we were here. We initial statement in this matter to the media during yesterday. However, I would like to reiterate that Colwyn Harding was in police custody between November 15th and 18th, 2013 at the Tineri police station, pending investigations into a report of break and enter and larceny. He had been arrested along with a number of other persons during a search on a house at Tineri for stolen property. Colwyn Harding and the others were occupants of the house at the time. During that period, he committed the offenses of assault, police officer, and disorderly behavior, for which he was charged and appeared at the Providence Magistrate Court on the 19th. He had been taken to the Providence police station on November 18th and appeared in court the following day. I want to make a correction that yesterday I said he appeared in court on the 18th, but it's on the 19th. At court, Colwyn Harding was placed on bail in the sum of $50,000, but he was unable to raise the sum and was remanded to prison. The matters are still before the court. The administration of the force was first informed of this alleged assault of Colwyn Harding by the police by way of a text message from a female, and that text came to me during December 2013. I immediately contacted Assistant Commissioner A Division, Mr. John Firefox, BSM, under which Tineri police station falls, for an investigation to be conducted in the matter. I was since directed by the police office of professional responsibility to take over the investigation, which is expected to be completed shortly. Meanwhile, the policeman was accused of the alleged assault, have been placed on close arrest, and a number of other ranks stationed at the Tineri police station have been transferred to other locations. I must mention that unbecoming behavior by members of the force will not be tolerated by my administration. Condemn action will be taken against any rank culpable of such action. Thank you.
Okay, the media, that's Commissioner's statement. No media questions. Kindly indicate your name and the media you're from, so we can.
My Jordan title.
By Jordan.
Sure. Why is it only now that his rank is being placed under close arrest? This thing according to December. Why only now? Is it the stories that are emanated from the media that was prompted?
Well, over the last couple of years, we noticed some hyping in the matter. And I knew an investigation had commenced. Based on the nature that we got, I decided that let us change or transfer the investigation from the game division to the Office of Professional Response. As such, the usual police procedure, we move the ranks around and the person we have as a suspect is the person.
Far, you have a question?
Happy New Year to you, sir.
Same to you, sir.
I'd like to pick up the point when you said that the investigation would have an early reply. I heard that from no less a person than Commissioner Laurie Lewis with a case of a death of a person in the Vatican police station. David Kennedy. It's almost 20 years, and that shorter, soon investigation is still ongoing. Almost 20 years, sir. Will this be a similar case, sir?
No, sir. I can assure you that by Tuesday of the new week, this investigation should be completed.
Any likelihood that the David Kennedy case would finally, the relatives are still waiting almost 20 years, sir. And I've spoken with all the commissioners since Mr. Laurie Lewis, and no response on the David Kennedy case, sir. Or Vatican.
I don't know much about that case, sir, but I look into it and I'll give you a feedback. We have ways of being in contact with you.
Thank you, sir.
Commissioner, deal before you start.
Commissioner, that's a question you have, Mr. Vice President. You said that you heard about this thing in December, and yet the incident apparently allegedly took place in November. So I'm inclined to ask if the commander knew about it before you got that text message.
I'm not sure if you knew before you, but when I got it, I got up immediately.
I'm just trying to ascertain whether
I
it's supposed to be reported in.
I took over the division just around the same time, and I did not receive any such report until Commissioner had called me with that text message that he received.
Commissioner, could you say what has been done so far by the OPR? What have been advised has been done so far with moving the investigation forward?
Also, we obtained a number of statements from persons. I must also state that the ranks have denied the allegation of using the button in the rectum. I was mentioned. We visited the Georgetown prison where this fellow was remanded to the Georgetown prison. President Colwyn should be at the prison here because there was a report that he made a report that he was assaulted, and we told that he made a report that he was assaulted by the police with a button, but he never stated that the police used a button to the rectum with condom. We also will also have to go to the hospital to get some information from the doctor. Also, the court, because we have to question the prosecutor, the arguments to be if any complaints were made. Because it is known that in the prison that nothing is the when you're a child, you take before the court. As soon as you make it before the court, you can usually shot. Assaulted by the police or beaten. So we have all those areas.
Does the police taking a statement from Mr. R. himself in connection with this specific allegation?
Well, he was to be visited. He was to be visited. I cannot say they visited him, but I know that will happen. That's to happen.
And have you replied to his lawyer, Mr. Hughes, about the $100 million demand?
Yeah, she replied to him.
And what have you essentially said?
Well, I've told him that. But some statements were made in that letter that he said that I was in some agreement with a lawyer one in the place for some payment of some $500,000. I responded in a nice, casual way, telling him that we were aware of the matter, OPR, the investigative matter, and I asked him to let good sense prevail. Let this investigation be completed. Finality, and when I say finality, go to the DPP for advice.
So you're not given a commitment one way or the other concerning this event?
I have not. I didn't get it.
Now, asking if you've given a commitment one way or the other about the $100 million demand.
I'm not giving it.
Mr. Commissioner, can you say who was the officer in charge of the Timiri police station at the time this incident had taken place?
George?
Yes,
Is that OIC still there?
no, it's not there. He was removed, he was removed long before now, young Mr. Van Rijden, we assume after persons return to leave, we take back the persons to the respective post, and then he was assigned to Diamond Station.
Mr. Commissioner, you asked an investigation into this matter since December. Today is on the 16th of January. I think at any time during that 1 month period before we became more publicized, check in with the division commander to say what's going on with this girl.
Well, I depend on the commanders to give me feedback. Remember when I got to the SWAT, I did not know the nature. And then I did not check with him. I did not check with him. Neither did he check with him.
And Mr. Commander of the division, an entire month to essentially come to the bottom of the investigation that would have taken place allegedly at one location with specific ranks working at that specific hour.
When the information came to me after I spoke to him, he said our son was assaulted in the station. I immediately got on to the division officer that was charged for that subdivision, Mr. Van Rijden. And during the process of the investigation, he indicated to me that it was a complaint against the rank because this man was already charged in prison. So immediately the matter was moved from Timiri to the complaint section of the dam. This matter still remains a complaint because it's an accused of rank of assaulting the.
Was any statement taken from
One statement was taken from the mother. Statement was taken from the mother.
He is still in police custody, even at the hospital.
Not police custody.
The prison
It was under the
custody?
prison authority.
And the police don't talk to the prison, so you want to talk to this man?
The police do communicate. No, the police do communicate with the prison.
So why
But
you
from my understanding at the time, he was unable to communicate. So even the mother said that he was unable to speak. So the communication in terms of getting a statement was not forthcoming.
If you were told, sir, that he was unable to speak, that speaks to probably the severity of his injuries. Did anyone
This was done after. This was after it was called by a member of the media, and I asked the lady to come and see me. When she came, she had a recording on a cell phone, and that recording is where his son speak and say all that happened. Then is when he mentioned, and then is when I have the knowledge that a baton was allegedly used with a gunman in it. I knew nothing before that. And I just want to say, given a division, as a commanding a division, that was just one matter reported as a matter of police assault. Just one. And if you sit in a division commanding seat, you will understand all the things that go wrong. I did not receive a brief from the officer after because remember this matter was removed to come to break down. It's until when that woman spoke to me, the mother, then I have a clear picture of what allegedly transpired at Timiri. Immediately we start getting a call. Mr. Watson was present, giving the matter to start getting it on the move or speed up the process because it was already investigation already started at the complaint section.
Let's say when the police force said this is the way, if the mother hadn't come to you,
No.
you would have been crawling along and just not a
This garden, we have been receiving a lot of matters like this before. And we have a report, when the report is completed, come to the commander, we read it, and then we send it to the relevant authority. And most times our report, with police assault, come up to us, it go to the police complaint authority, then to the DP. I just want to clear it. I'm saying it again. At no time did the mother ever mention to me that a baton was used in terms of her condom and her son it was used on us on no time. I only learned this from a recording, and the reporter also would avoid that, and he called me. And I asked her to send her to me immediately, and I did not behave nice.
That's what dates you were recording.
That was Thursday, last Thursday.
Was there any attempt to get his medical records? Could you say when he was admitted to the hospital?
They're working to get that. As I mentioned earlier, we were at the prison trying to get information from them.
This assault took place since November. Saying when he was admitted would not take a month and a half.
We need to know. No, listen, I said that. Hope we are not doing something. I mentioned earlier that the prison is one of the areas that needs to be. Because we did not know when this boy was admitted. So we have to get out of it.
Anyway.
You are a strict confidence paper. Mr. Michael, Mr. Muhammad, could you say if this particular ranking question is the same, was ever implicated in any actions that could have been considered unprofessional conduct before now? And if you could also say how many ranks exactly have been removed from community station and what are the ranking of those?
It's about 6 to 8 rounds, the highest in the assistant superintendent. The least is the council. And in terms of any previous, I can't say anything on that.
You need to check on that in light of.
Well, the investigator will check when they do the investigation, that will come out in the
It was similar to what was just asked before. In light of this, could it be possible that more persons to come forward with complaints? Because I'm thinking, and logically, for most people, they will not say that they've been bothered with the matter unless they have serious medical conditions. I tell you that. I could tell you from not my experience, but logically speaking, right? So I think that may be something we can see if they be similar. Because as a young man said, that's what he would normally do. You gotta be able to do before you service. Right? So it seems that he was an experienced man. Mr.
Commissioner, just some clarification. Do you recall the exact date that you received the text? And did the text state exactly what days it was?
I got it. I saw it.
Physical saw?
I just saw it. The truth is, I have no other. I don't usually like these foods. I have a BlackBerry. I'm thinking the date of the plan. I was checking, but like the phone is not in order. I was running my diary to check it. I did not. Probably I will take about 2 months.
Would you say it's like within the first week of December, it could be between hours on that?
I would say it's probably about 47 weeks.
And how long after that did you become aware that a pattern was actually inserted? Recently, as in last week?
Mr. Commissioner, I'm referring to the
Excuse me, please, Mosley.
Do you have any reasons?
I don't know her. I might know her, but I don't know who's the people.
I think you should text in.
Yes, very good.
While the OPR is investigating, the matter, pardon also alleged that 2 officers, including Sim, recorded the assault. Have been able to check the officer's phone.
Check
The officer's phone as part of the investigation, perhaps.
Well, the investigation is way beyond. They come out, I can see what she does.
Who can say
Mr. Gomez, does this, because many persons are saying transferring is not enough. I know there's a due process that has to be followed, but any consideration to probably review or recommend to the powers that we do whenever they need. So, review the process of dealing with ranks that are found to be operating in manners that are could be considered unprofessional. Like this one, like just fire them and just throw them before the court. You know, some form of drastic punishment.
Mine, of course, was innocent. And if we get some and all over the world, and if we get a report or someone, we have to investigate. We have to investigate. We have to send for that.
Mr. Brown, what interviews are recorded with prisoners?
What?
Interviews are recorded with suspects. Are interviews recorded? Interviews.
Recorded meaning what? Taken notes?
No.
Video recorded.
Video recorded? Only some cases of murder. Not all cases. Suspects of murder in some cases.
And should this case send a message that we should go forward?
We want to do that, we have to build capacity to do that. And there's a big gap in capacity. That involve logistics as well as training.
But were these persons, these officers transferred from the community station at Sideline and transferred? And where was the police officer?
He were the police, the removal of the people to me was through yesterday and the yesterday.
And you were asked to launch this investigation in December.
Come on, board, and I'm saying that it was an assault at that time. The only time I knew the depth of this matter was on Thursday when I have the recording.
But Mr. Kumar,
The investigation depends on the severity of an assault.
Well, you remember, when you investigate the matter, not everything come back to you. Because they investigate, they charge, they place before the court, a number of things happen. And all of that happened in this whole process. But I only learned with this matter when the commissioner called me. Right? I passed it on to the subdivision officer of direct responsibility. But after he recognized, and I make the point, after he recognized that the man was already charged and placed before the court and is in prison, the assault now becomes a matter of a complaint made against a policeman. And that's at the stage the matter was moved to the complaint section.
What I'm trying to figure out is if from the time you were asked,
I don't know to clear this up, but it seems to me in this matter quite a few practices weren't approved. There were some deficiencies in all practices. One is that when the statement was taken from the mother and that rank understood the extent of the assault, it should have been reported. If in that statement the mother outlined the same thing that we are reading in the news right now, then it should have been reported immediately, Commander. That didn't happen. Secondly, among joint services, something like this happened, the prison would have called either the commissioner or somebody and say, listen, we have XYZ complete. That didn't happen. They are obligated to, but it has been a practice.
so that was the first, I'm trying to figure out the timeline here. When was the first effort made? From the time the police commissioner contacted the commander, when was the first effort made to contact this man who was making the allegation? When was the first attempt made to interview Ashram, who would say the alligator? When was the first attempt made to interview him?
I can't answer that off the cuff because the complaint section will deal with that complaint. Because I know they took a statement from the mother and the other steps they had to follow because she gave them some information which they had to work.
And at no time during that, they did attempt
To come to me and give me the time, they did not come back.
Commander Vipers, could you explain for the benefit of us and the wider public what makes the charging of a civilian much more quicker than that of a policeman who will be involved in an alleged assault? When it's an assault, what makes the process so lengthy? The process isn't lengthy. Persons are charged based on evidence collected, and persons including members of the force. So the process of the investigation has to reach a stage where there is sufficient evidence in the opinion of the person who can say charge or the DPP.
So you say there's a slow approach on the part of
No. I'm saying that the same procedure is applied. Both cases. Regardless of whether it's a member of the force or a member of the public, the same process.
It's the process, but what about the speed?
To my mind, it go with the same speed, and normally we find in the force whenever matters appear in the press, there is some acceleration.
Bishop.
Mr. Commissioner, with respect to the rank, is it established that only the person in whose arrest was involved in this incident?
Well, we are saying throughout, I'm hearing everyone that speaks said that this investigation is continuing.
No, but as a follow-up,
Because
the tape,
yeah,
the recorded conversation, the statement given by the guy on recording did mention others who were involved in the meeting.
and let's
So
take
why only
literally
one
somebody-
policeman was on the close of it?
investigation. All of the investigation.
Bear in mind, the commander said that he heard the tape.
George.
And second, I have
Hold on.
Nobody knows.
Go ahead, Bishop.
the ranks were to be transferred. Where exactly will be transferred?
And where are some of those stations that you be transferred?
Well, we brought them closer to Georgetown so that the process can get smoother. We have a number of stations in the division.
There are two principles involved in the transfer. One is that we are an organization of public trust. When an incident, an allegation is made of an incident that affects public trust, the first thing we want to do is to move them out of that community because it will affect the relationship. Secondly, if it's unprofessional behavior, then you want to put them also at a place where there's more supervision. There are higher ranks and so on. So that happens not because there is any evidence of anything. It's because this allegation is being investigated. And in that interim period, those measures are taken. At the end of the investigation, what the evidence finds, if there is evidence to support criminal charge, then that happens. Departmental charges, then that happens. And then if there is no evidence to support any charge, then nothing else happens.
My final question, sir. Are there any doubts in the Guyana Police Force that this assault ever took place by a rank of the Guyana Police Force?
Well, the investigation continues.
We investigate without mind.
Well, let us watch
George.
There was the incident with the so-called torture team, where those ranks were.
Which team?
Torture team, Genitals born. Did it take that long for them to be charged? That is one question. Another question is, Mr. Brown, we know they're back on duty. Is it possible that ranks like this, the same, might feel that they can get away with things like this because of the slap on the wrist that they're getting?
You think it's a slap on the wrist? I think this year you said it.
I think we are saying that no decision has been made until the investigation.
No. You have some ranks who were charged with torturing
Yeah, that's the first question. I'm saying the same process applies. There's OPR that investigated. We can't say how long it took. The investigation has to do with how many witnesses, whether they are available, whether there's forensic evidence, and when that and where that analysis will be done. There's a whole number of factors that determine the length of time that an investigation takes. I can't say offhand how long they want it, but I know that it's OPR that investigate, and when we say the same procedure is applied, the same procedure is applied.
Can you tell us how many rounds have been transferred? You have 6 to 8 rounds were transferred. You have one who's on the cruise arrest. Why were those rounds placed on the cruise arrest as well? So the tape is in the why transfer?
So just explain the reason why they transfer.
We hear this all the time, close arrest. You said Singh is on the close arrest. What does close arrest mean? What is happening?
It means that they don't go in the same place where the other prisoners are.
Including him? Yeah?
He will not go in the same lockups with other prisoners. That's what close arrest means. There is custody. And all the rules of custody applies, except that they don't go in the lockups.
So right now he's in a cell.
Huh?
Right now
He's in custody.
He's in custody. He's in custody. His movement is restricted. He's in custody.
Yeah, his liberty is taken away. He can't call anybody. same thing.
Is this the same custody that the Rams indicated in the Agricola shooting? The two that missing is in action. And
Custody is also
They were under
72
arrest.
hours. No. 72 hours that expire. And we can't keep them longer unless the court says.
But the police force is known for seeking extensions. Why wasn't that done in that?
Yeah, extensions are granted when there is a need for that person to remain in custody while certain investigations are being conducted, so that they won't compromise. It wouldn't compromise the investigation. And if there is nothing, no investigation that they can compromise while they are at liberty, both police officers and civilians, then the court will grant it. So we don't apply.
So you will be seeking an extension in relation?
I'm not saying that. The evidence will tell us whether we have things to go to the court with or we don't.
One other question, Mr. Brown.
If he's likely to interfere with witnesses, then yes. If there's evidence that we are collecting now that we want to confront him with, then yes. If they are just other portions or analysis we are waiting on and he has no role, then no.
The Commissioner of the Ministry of Home Affairs in essence said that some of the actions of police officers are actually making the reform process look like a mock police. Could I have some comments from you in that?
Well, in every force, you have rules. Every force you have rules. While the whole organization has embarked on moving this force forward, we have the rogue elements. What we try to do is as long as we find out who are those rogue elements, we try to protect them. But we are on our way forward. This is a good force, 174 years, very good force. Just the rogues, rogue elements we will have to.
How do you get rid of them?
As long as we get information on them, we investigate.
I'm sorry if it's the crime chief since I have you here. Colonel Barton, the cricketer charged in that orange walk incident, and then he was set free and DP said 5 heavy charges. Where we get with that? Where is Colonel Barton?
Also, we will start business with this matter with this.
They don't know?
No, we don't know.
He would have been arrested if he knew.
Pardon me?
Would have been arrested.
Has any attempt made with immigration since we had the chief immigration officer as the commissioner of police?
You heard he has left the country?
You know he's left the country?
No, you heard that he has left.
I don't know. Ask him. If you can't find India, you got this somewhere else. But has any effort been made to check your records at the immigration, any airport to see whether or not he has left the country?
There are a number of checks that have been made, and those checks will be continuous. Not in relation to him, but in relation to all the persons that.
But this was a high-profile case. The video is there.
There are others too. There are other high-profile.
No, this one is with video evidence of him shooting a man. Wouldn't that take some of the
All the persons that we charge reported because we had evidence.
Oh, video. You see it there.
We had evidence.
Yeah, but did you make any attempt to get the airport records?
I'm saying that several checks. It's a routine. Several checks are made, and those checks are continuous.
And so far, it has not revealed.
There's no information where he is.
With 400 people leaving a day, we know where he is. I don't know.
This for the commissioner. So can we see, as part of the reform process, do you think it would be right to suggest that you probably follow the example set by the GDF in publishing the faces of some of these persons who applied to the people in the. I know you do your vetting of persons who want to come into force, but maybe another step, because I'm sure if something like this happens, you don't just decide to do something like that. I say it's guilty, but then see.
One of the consultancies in the reform process will deal with recruitment and retention.
Okay.
So before we take any major step, we will await that consultancy. It's one that the minister mentioned in the address.
So do you think that is something that you guys should probably, even if it's not?
I think we should wait for the consultants. They will research best practices all over. They will look at advantages and disadvantages, and they will advise.
One question from me, Mr. Prasad, how do you listen to this issue? But the vehicles in the compound of CID headquarters, there are a lot of concerns with respect to why some of them are still there. There is also a perception that the court marshals in most of those vehicles were supposed to be tested. Those are finished. You feel to give us any?
I think most of them, there weren't any court markers, and decisions weren't taken way back then 20 years ago. It's a long time.
Are there any other questions on the matter involving Colwyn?
Yes, sir.
Let me get the
Mr. Commissioner, given all that has transpired so far since November and the time we got the call, how would you conclude that there was a lack of supervision up there?
There was some lacks in supervision.
You see, once somebody gets assaulted in the presence of other people and no action is taken, there is a lack of supervision, a lack of many things.
Okay.
Is the OPR dealing with that part?
The OPR investigates everything.
What is it?
So we expect to see some action
You get action,
with respect to this.
not prejudging. Some action.
Okay.
What do you want to tell the public? I mean, because I'm thinking somebody stopped by the police and they say we gotta go to the station. You don't have a problem. What do you want to say to the public in terms of having confidence in the police force? Having that confidence, actually go to the station.
Well,
No, seriously.
you're our friend, you're our friend. And if we get a report or something happened to you, you'll see what you'll see action. But generally, I don't know. I think people we're trying to get closer to the government. But I think persons working to keep us up. I don't know. I sit down and study. Persons are working to keep us up. Not everybody in this force is a bad. But as soon as something happens, everybody and sometimes I get the impression that people try to make the force people. They really know when people force people to get bad. And you know what impotence is? No tablet. Not bring back there. So what we have to do, we have to try motivating the ranks. You understand? You have to try looking at attitudes.
So for me, it's not motivating ranks. There's a number of ranks and they're pissed off with what happened up in America.
Well,
how do you motivate them for that?
Well, it depends on the level of the ranks that you speak to.
The large majority of the force will be. And it's because of what it stands for. It is
how do you motivate them from that?
Well, action will be taken, investigation will be done, that's what we're saying. And based on the evidence collected, whoever is responsible will feel the full brunt of the matter.
Mr. Commissioner,
But it's hard to take when you work and build, all the standards that you work and build, and somebody comes from somewhere and just put out on money.
If we're talking about building public confidence and public trust, it's going to be a year soon, sometime this month, since that London Commission of Inquiry released that report. They made certain recommendations. We have not seen a single police officer charged, any disciplinary action taken against any member of that department. I was there in London, and 3 persons lost their lives. When people see that, do you think you can understand why there is this lack of confidence?
Yeah, I think a lot of people were following the evidence that were presented, and there's no evidence that were presented that show any policeman pull a trigger that shoot anybody.
Who shoot? The evidence also said this clear.
There are a lot of things happen, and we can't answer who did it. You can't answer who did it.
It's not your job to figure that out. If this report said it is clear that only the police were shooting on that day,
yeah,
and you had a unit
and they conclude, an individual conclude that because police shot the people.
But isn't it your job to then figure that out? And it's been a year, and you have not figured that out. Now, who shoot?
That is true. That is true. But it's not an isolated incident. There are several other incidents involving different people, and we haven't figured out who did it.
So the police have abided by the report of the commission. So the police have abided by the conclusions of the commission of inquiry.
It was accepted by government. He said responsible. He said responsible.
Any further questions on Colwyn matter?
Yes.
Does it not come under close?
Tuesday next week, the investigation should be completed. But that means no made public the same day, sir.
You know you always are clear on what you're talking about.
One last line following up on Mr. McAdam. Confidence.
Yeah.
When Ms. Simona Brooms was invited to come to the police and then she ends up being charged, isn't that a stab in the back by the police to a member of the public? In fact, a very brave, beautiful, sexy member of the public, sir.
Listen, don't let us be carried away by the beauty, by the looks.
Was she
Don't
charged?
judge the book by the cover.
No, I'm saying she was invited to the station, which meant that she was double-crossed, if you will.
No, the allegations are made against a lot of people who we call and they come to the station. Now everybody we know and the rest.
It means I'm going to be scared if the police say, come to the station, Mr. Farr, we want to talk with you.
And
I am going to help you
there are a lot of people,
You don't do anything bad.
you would have published a lot of people who liars brought the station and the police put them in custody after.
You don't do anything bad, so you don't have to.
Any further
Thank you,
questions?
sir.
If not, thank you, gentlemen.
That's the